Hi, this is Laura here with my dog River, and today we are going to be showing you how to make your dog's ears, specifically golden retrievers, labs, not have the typical crease, because usually they have a crease right down the middle of their ear and it bends out. So if you show your dog, or you just like to have a really nice, clean, flat ear that generally stands perked up, which is what you like in the show ring, you're going to need some scissors, which I have already cut, but you're going to need your template for their ears for them to stand flat, which I just used some cardboard and I just put a little bit of little like tissue and wrap it around, which you don't need to. Some people do, some people don't. On this one I don't. But you're basically going to have a template of the ear. So you're going to, River, up, come here, up, let's go. You're going to put the ear, you're going to go however far you need to. You want it pretty far down. So you're just going to pick the wider piece of the ear, or the template, well, any piece. And then you're going to put it about right there. So there, the ear hole is right there. Just going to put it just above. And then you're going to, I like to use Sharpie and draw around it. And then I see if that'll fit and if his ear can bend down. Because if it can't, there's no reason to using this. So what you're going to do is you're just going to cut it to where the tip is right at the cardboard. So after you do that, up, come on, let's go, stay. You're going to make sure that the ear can obviously fold down. So just like that. It should look like there's nothing there when you're holding it. Next, after you have these cut out, you're always going to want to make sure you reward your dog, because this might take a few weeks. So you want to make sure they know it's a good thing to have their ears taped. Because if it's not, it's going to be such a hassle to get them to calm down and not run around or fight you for it. Just going to make sure it's a good experience. Then you'll take your ear tape, or your ear posts. Then what we use is just like clear Scotch tape. You can use fancy duct tape if you want, or the like swimmer's tape or whatever. But it's just, I find it's cheapest. So all you're going to do, you're just going to cut out a decent amount of tape. So I use about this much tape he's a 60-pound golden retriever, so the small golden retriever. So I use about this much tape, to about 2 hands of mine, for this small. So I usually like to double it or even triple it sometimes. So what you're going to do is you're going to go down a little bit off the ear. You're going to about the base. So you're going to go about, start taping right here. And instead of going where you're taping it and when you run your finger across after you're done, it's not sticky, you're going to flip it and then you're going to do it that way. Sometimes it's hard to get it to go, but most of the time it will eventually go. You might need to do it 2 or 3 times. So after I do that, usually it isn't enough, but at that point, I like to grab a really small piece of tape and cut it in half, and then tape it to the bottom. So this is the top part where the top of the base of the ear is going, and I'm going to, on the bottom part where the tip, I'm going to press down with the piece of tape facing in so it holds it in place. And then on the opposite side, I'm going to take it, but I'm going to do where the base of the ear is to hold it down up there so that it can't move up or down. So it's sturdy. Then I'm going to take another piece of tape, just a decent size. It's not that big. And then you're just going to go opposite one more time. It's a lot easier to do it the second time. You're just going to finalize and wrap it around. And then you have an ear that's sticky. So after that, what you're going to do, I like to do this before it is not sticky anymore. Come here. And you can always feed them. Come get it. Just to let them know it's good. So what you're going to do is you're going to take the base of the ear. You're going to make sure his ear's clean. So you can use like Epcot Advanced Ear Cleaner. Anything that cleans the ear. Make sure that it's dry. And then you're going to go right above it with the base. And then you're going to just flatten. And then I like to make sure all the hair is pulled out and everything is good. So after that, the ear will most likely hang out, but sometimes it doesn't if you get it right. And if it hangs out like this, all you got to do is flip it up and trim this right here. But his are already trimmed because we've done it a few times. So you're always going to make sure that he knows this is a good thing to have done and it's nothing to worry about. Lie down. Lie down. So now we're going to be doing the other ear posting. We have the second ear piece done. So we're going to do the same thing. We're going to pull it up. We're going to flip the ear over. We're going to make sure all the fur's down. We're going to make sure it's clean, which it is. We're going to put the base in. This one's a little bit smaller because this was when he was his ears weren't as big basically. So then you just, once again, you're going to just flatten it down so everything's stuck together. And then you see these sort of flop out. So when it does that, usually it means the bottom piece is flipping out like that. So all you would have to do is I just take a little piece of tape. I roll it up so it's sticky on all sides. And I basically go right underneath it and then flatten it down so that now it can't flip up as much. Now sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. It really just depends. Now say this piece right here is letting it flap. It's still connected to the tape. It's just the tape isn't connected to the cardboard. So once again, I'll take a small piece of tape. And then all I'll do is I'll sort of take the ear down a little bit. And I'll just tape it on so the ear is not as bad. Like it's attached, it can't move. And then all you're going to do is you're just going to tape it like that. So you have the ears done. Now we're going to actually tape them together so that they don't fall off if they shake their head or paw it. So what we're going to do is we're going to grab 2 small pieces of tape. For the first one, you're just going to put it at the tip of the ear. Make sure you can also cut it. And then the second piece, it's about the same size, but for the crease, I should do it on the other side. So I'm going to take this piece, you'll see it here. I'm going to take a small piece and put it right here. I'm going to fold, and then fold over right here. And I just use just a really small piece, just to let the tip so it's not pointy if you don't want to cut it. Which sometimes you don't want to because then it could fall off easier. So after that, you're going to take a piece a little bit bigger than that. And then, since there can be a crease right down the middle, right there, all you're going to do is you're going to take it just past that. And you're going to not pull too hard, but you're sort of going to flatten it. And then you're just going to fold it underneath and tape it down so that the crease has to be flat. Then you do the same thing with that side if you want to, or you could just do 1 full piece. I like to do 2 because it's easier taking it off. So after you do that, you're going to slightly pull and then you're going to let it go. And then it just gives you a flat ear, a flat crease. Instead of there being a crease, it's flat. So that's what you do with this ear. For the next ear, I'm going to just do the same exact thing I did on his left ear. Okay, so I have his second ear done, but as you notice, his ears hang out. They flop out instead of hanging down or out and down, obviously. So to fix that, what we found is you're going to use Scotch tape. You're also going to need scissors. And obviously this part is a little demanding, so you always want to reward your dog, because it doesn't inflict movement, but until you cut it, it sort of inflicts the jaw movement. So you want to give them a piece of food before you have to do it. So what you're going to do is this piece of tape is supposed to go from this ear underneath, under the jowl, into this ear. Just basically to hold this so it sort of flops out, so his ears get expression. So he gets expression, and then it will help obviously hold them down. So basically it's expression, but they're down instead of out. I mean, unless you want them to be posted up. Say it's like a Doberman, I bet you could use this, and then instead of posting them down, you could post them up and together and just do a bridge here. So it would look like that. Instead of it looking like this, you can make it like that. It just depends on where you post it and how young they are. So what you're going to do is you're going to measure out a little bit more than the width of their head. So that's what I'm going to do. And then what you want to do is you can either just tape it like that and go under. I don't love that because it tends to get their fur. Now, I mean, I did it to the ears, but I don't love it on their chin because it's sort of more sensitive here because it could pull and hurt on their neck. So scratch this. Don't do this. Don't do that. Do this. So you're going to double that amount that you had there. So instead of doing it this much, I'm going to do it this much. This much. Okay. And then this part is kind of tedious, especially if you drop it. So what you're going to do is you're just going to line them up as straight as you can. It's okay if you don't get it perfect. You see, I didn't get this perfect. So all I'm going to do though is just fold over the plastic pieces where the plastic is, or the tape is sticky. That's all you got to do, because it's not like with the ears where if you get it wrong, the ear will be all crazy. Because I mean, you're trying to get it flat, and then the ear will all be this wrinkly. But the chin is already, it's the chin, so. Come here. One last piece of food. Okay. So basically, after you have this piece, you can put on your skin, make sure you can test it out, make sure it's not going to stick you. And then what you're going to do is you're going to take 2 pieces of tape. 2 pieces of tape, about this big for his size. So take 2 pieces. I recommend pre-cutting. And then all you're going to do is you're going to take one side of it. You're going to put the piece on it about midway. Make sure there's no stickies on the non-sticky piece. And then all you're going to do is you're just going to pull the ear out, pull it up and out, and basically you're going to stick it right here. It can do some trial and error. Basically, you want it to look sort of like this when it's done, when he has his ears pinned up. And then you're going to take this piece and do the same thing. So halfway on, and then you're going to pull it out and up. And then I noticed this piece, I have way too much extra. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to take the scissors, line it up. You do want to give him some bit because he is going to be eating and sleeping. And his ears, you want to be able to see what he's feeling. So after that, I'm just going to do the same thing. I'm going to pull it out. I'm going to adjust it. I'm going to pull his ear up and out just as I want it to be whenever. And then just to check, you can tickle behind the ears. Now, if they're not ticklish or whatever, they won't put their ears up. But I noticed this is a little bit too tight. So all I'm going to do is I'm just going to loosen it just a little bit. You don't want to loosen too much because then their ears won't be pulled down. Or you can make some funny noises, whatever that you will have to do. But you always want to make sure that their ears are able to be pulled up and then still have a little bit of extra. So now this is the best part because you need this to make sure your dog is comfortable. So, you notice that it's blocking a lot of their neck, and even when they tilt their head down, it's pushing up onto their skin. So all you're going to do is you're going to take it about right here. You want to make sure you're not getting any of the ear, but you're going to angle it and get a cut about like that. River. So it's like that. So, and now all you're going to do is you're just going to River, here. River. You're just going to follow it all the way through to the other side. But you want to make sure you don't get it too thin, because if you get it too thin, then it'll just break. It'll break in half. And basically you're just going to cut up on this side. So now, when you look at it, yeah, it's still on his neck, but instead of it being up here on his throat or muzzle, it's down here. And it basically goes down and then up again. Now, you can adjust it as much as you want. I bet now, maybe if I tickle, where's Dozer? Where's Dozer? And then you can just check the fitting to see if, like, because sometimes the back of his ear will crease in. Now you can just either mess with it every day and try and flatten it out. Or ideally, you just put like a cotton ball or something that pulls it out. That's how I like to do my golden retriever's ears. And I found this way works best, and it's the most sturdy because it lets their ears get up and down so you can see what he's feeling. And most of the time they do like it. It's more comfortable for them to have their ears up just because of how it was taped. So they learn to keep their ears up. They use their muscles. I find also, even if it's a pet, they look cuter with their ears up. It looks weird because of the tape, but when the tape comes off and their ears generally perk up more, it looks pretty cute. So, that's what we find, as long as your dog's not half asleep. And that's the time I find it's best for you to post their ears, is when they're like half asleep. So, and then you want to make sure after that they can eat and drink, which we won't be showing because it's very slobbery. But you can just even use their plain old kibble. Chicken works good because it's a very high value. And you basically want to teach them that they can come on, that they can get up, they can look down, they can look back, they can do anything that they need to do. So if you guys go hunting and they need to be off leash, you want to make sure that they know that they can come and sit and stay whenever you ask upon. So you just want to get them very comfortable with the piece underneath. And ideally, you don't want them out in the rain for at least a day. Ideally, now if it's raining and your dog needs to go out, there's nothing you can do about it. Just try and make it quick. Don't let them roll in the mud or get their ears dirty, because that can cause ear infections because the ear is slightly covered. So, I hope you like this ear posting tutorial, and I hope your dog's ears will post just as well as mine. I will give an update on when we're done, and I will see if there's a crease still and it was a waste of time, or if there's now no longer a crease and it was very worth my time. So, this is me and River. We'll be doing a lot more videos lately. Bye, guys!